So it gave and took away strength at the same time?
Jax queried. Thea nodded. That's my guess. She told them what she had experienced and what Kira said during the fight. I don't know what happened to me. I've never felt dark magic that strong before. Brandon pursed his lips and Jax swore under his breath. Thea stood back, surveying the scene. She was breathless and still somewhat shaken. She scanned the graveyard and frowned. Nice of you to finally show up. Appearing behind the headstones were several of the resident spirits. One in particular, who they knew as Whitney, glided toward them. His nervous face and voice were to be expected, but not like this. He was truly shaken.
We don't know what that was. The darkness, the foul magic, has made us unable to come out of the ground while they're working.
Whitney, who had once been a groundskeeper when he was alive, gestured at the pieces of undead littering his graveyard. Now that Thea thought about it, Whitney and the other spirits looked more faded than normal.
This isn't the only place that's been hit hard,
Jax informed him.
We've been dealing with this issue all over the city for 2 weeks now.
Tonight was the first time they'd actually seen and fought the zombies. The other instances had happened at smaller graveyards, eventually drawing Aid's attention to this place.
Can you tell us everything?
Brandon asked. Whitney spoke for a minute or two, and Brandon jotted down notes. Jax took the opportunity to gather a conglomeration of zombie parts into a bag to take to Aid for examination. Thea wrinkled her nose at the thought of driving to the offices with a bag of decay in the trunk. Gross. She examined her clothes again. At least she hadn't gotten any more brains on her. Finally, Brandon finished with Whitney and signaled for the others to follow him out of the cemetery. Tonight's work was done.
Anything?
Jax asked Brandon.
None of the specters know what might be causing the issue. They haven't seen anything but that weird mist come up every night.
Thea had been right about feeling like the mist was poisoning her. She shuddered as they passed the cemetery gate and headed for the parked van. I have a feeling this is only the tip of the iceberg. Darker forces are at play in this city, and they have been for a while. After Aid dealt with the Black Rose cult, Thea thought cases of weird activity might go down, but that had not happened. At least no more murders had occurred that they knew of. But if we don't figure this shit out soon, we'll find much bigger problems on our hands, she thought. Brandon and Jax were inclined to agree with her spoken sentiment.
We've got nothing concrete to go on,
Brandon added, face drawn. Jax opened the back of the van and tossed the bag of zombie parts into it before climbing into the driver's seat. Brandon, Thea, and Kira, now in cat form, followed. Thea sighed in response to Brandon's last words. That only makes it worse.